There we go. Alright, hello everybody. Good afternoon. I'm Kristina. I'm here with Cassidy. We are starting out our garden tour today in the Rock Garden, right here in front of the Climatron, which is really looking great right now. And we're going to walk around a little further, show you some of the plantings that are going in as the spring ones phase out, and check to see how those peonies are looking as well. So stick with us and we'll walk you around. All right. So here in the Rock Garden, a lot of the plants are smaller and lower to the ground. So we'll try and pause on some of these as we walk. This one here is phlox. This one is a type of beardtongue.
This is actually one of the types of plants that's blooming quite a bit throughout the rock garden right now. Is this Penstemon, the beardtongue. So there's a few other specimens that will pop by while we're walking through here. Go up here and show that.
And here's a cool plant. This is called red hot poker.
While we're over here, let's point this out. This is a yucca, but it's in the asparagus family, and if you look right here at the central stalk, you can see why. This looks like a giant 4-foot tall piece of asparagus, just like you'd find in the grocery store. So with some very sharp leaves that I'm leaning into here. So not flowering yet, but just you can see from that structure its relation to the common asparagus that we all know and eat.
And this is a drier, rockier soil here, so there's a lot of really unique plants that grow in the rock garden. This one here.
Yeah.
So you can see there's a bee right here, and this is a bee balm. There's a few of them buzzing around in here, actually. And this flowering ground cover right here is a type of thyme. You can smell it. It smells like, well, it smells like thyme, if you're familiar with that, using that in your kitchen. There's sage here as well. Ooh, chipmunk just ran right through. Got a few different cacti here. Some prickly pear.
Yeah, and they're not quite, but they are getting ready to bloom. You can see up here where the flowers will open at some point. I really like cactus flowers. I think they're just super pretty, especially in contrast to the other characteristics of those plants. They're not quite open yet, though.
I did see one of the prickly pears blooming up ahead, but we'll check and see if that flower is still open when we get over there.
That's another of the beardtongue, the Penstemon. Quite a bit taller and pink, but similar looking flowers.
And here's a really cool planter that I want to pause on for a second. There's a lot of different cacti in here.
Yeah, and you can see some of the flowers on this are starting to open, so the yellows and orange.
Looks like these are called hedgehog cacti. And here's mountain ball cacti back here. Now over here,
I see it.
oh, it looks like that is still in flower. Oh, that's great. I'm glad we can show you guys. So here is a prickly pear flower. Hiding in the very back of this group, but we see you. Very beautiful.
And this is more of the
And yeah, here's more of that
beard
tongue. Someone asked if it was foxglove, which it definitely has some similar characteristics. So I can see why you might mistake it for that. Here's a really nice ground cover. This is a type of stonecrop. It says it's orange stonecrop. And you'll see different kinds of stonecrop cropping up just even around the neighborhoods. It's hardy here, at least some kinds are. Here's some really showy orange flowers. Now, I'm not sure how to pronounce this, and I'm not familiar with this plant, but
we can say it's in the poppy family.
yes, maybe Glaucium.
Papa varieties is the poppy family. There's some, you can see the similarities here with this, and then on the border up here, as we go further down, there's some Icelandic poppy, I believe, that's up against the border that you can see is very similar looking. Lots of beard tongue still. I mean, you can just see this is a great garden to kind of see those differences. I mean, here's one particular genus of plants, and there's just so much diversity in the 5 minutes that we've been on this tour so far. We've seen 5 or 6 different species, all looking a little different, all sharing some similarities.
And back here you can see this is a really pretty plant. It's called Blue Star. It's little clusters of sort of star-shaped flowers. I'm not sure how well you can see that on the screen. but they're really nice, light, kind of icy blue color. And the sun is coming out here, which seems to be making this skunk plant that we're coming up on smell very, very strongly today. And it really is striking how much it smells like a skunk. This is it. Really pretty little flowers here. You can see how small those are. But not a super pretty smell. There's actually a sign about it right here.
And it does stink even after the flowers are done, so I'm sure for people that have walked through this part of the garden before, you've caught a whiff of this even in the heat of the summer, and maybe you've never known what the blooms themselves look like, so this is it.
Joyce, that icy blue plant, it's called Blue Star. And you can see here we've got some plantings getting ready to go in. So for those of you who've been along on these tours since the beginning, this is where the tulips were. So those have been pulled out, and we are gearing up for summer here, hoping to have a more specific announcement about when we will be able to reopen soon. So please do stay tuned. Right now we've submitted a plan to the city for safely reopening, and we're just waiting on word to see if that plan's approved. So hopefully we will know a reopening date soon. But for now, we are certainly getting ready to welcome you guys back. Can't wait. It's gonna look great. And you can see here these water lilies. They're very small right now, but if you've been here in mid or late summer, you know how big they get.
It was actually quite a challenge to get these in this year, just because the spring has been so cool the last few weeks, and so gray and cloudy. So we normally rely on the dark coloring in this water and the sun to really heat these pools to optimum temperatures for these tropical lilies, and it was quite a waiting game to get them in, but everything is in now. In these pools, the Victorias as well, in our heated pool in the center.
Yeah, let's go take a look at those.
And those are definitely small by comparison to what they will be. We had one pad last summer over 6 feet, didn't we, Kristina?
We did, yes. You can see a frog on that one. I don't know if you could see on the screen, but we can hear him too. There. Right there. On that lily pad, there's a frog. See some more plantings getting ready to go in over here.
Those look like they might be bananas, perhaps. Don't hold me to that.
They definitely have a similar leaf.
And we were speaking with the horticulturist who oversees this area a little bit before the tour, and she says that there'll be a lot of caladium that will be planted here to sort of complement lower to the ground all of these plants, which will get really big.
Unless this guy eats them first.
Eats them, yeah.
This goose couple is notorious for eating plants, so we just learned this from the lily pad expert the other day, so we'll see.
If we go over here, we can see a little tiny
Oh yeah.
water lily.
Oh, thanks, Sherry. I'm glad that you could see that frog. That's good to know. And here's another little thing that I'm hoping you can see.
Let's see if I can read the sign in the water here.
It's a purple lily flower just starting to open.
It's called Midnight.
It's called Midnight, in case you couldn't hear that.
And this pool is actually filled with water lilies that were hybridized by George Pring, who used to work here at the garden for many, many years, and hybridized quite a few lily varieties. So this entire pool is dedicated to him and showcases some of the things that he created. So he created a St. Louis water lily, Henry Shaw water lily, and this is always a really pretty pool, but with a special St. Louis connection.
You can see all that color in the background there is the iris garden. Still looking just as good as it did around Mother's Day when we first were walking through there that week.
I think the irises actually, we were talking about the water lilies being delayed by the cool temperatures. I think the irises actually benefited from that and have held their blooms a lot longer. So, and Mother's Day was early this year. We normally say they peak around Mother's Day, and we had an early Mother's Day and a cool spring. So this is just as good a peak as any that we've seen.
And Bren, the name of that lily was called Midnight. So we'll just pause here for a second and take this garden in. Why don't we walk through the knolls this time? Because I saw the dry creek bed has some things blooming in it that weren't last time we walked through here. Oh wow! There's a bunch of fish right at the top of the water today. Swimming away now, but I think you probably were able to catch that.
They're social distancing from us.
Yeah. So here, this is the dry creek bed. You can see a couple kinds of irises and some smaller flowers down here. This looks like one of those yellow flag irises to me.
Yeah, it should be.
But you can kind of see ahead this meandering dry creek bed. It's just kind of an idea of something you can do with an area like that. And I'm guessing that this gets pretty wet when it's raining, so.
Yeah, I think this is an area a lot of people miss. We've talked on some previous tours in general that I think sometimes people are afraid to walk on the grass here in the knolls, and that's totally allowed. Please do. And this dry stream bed here, because there is no designated path nearby. I think a lot of people see it in the distance and miss it, but clearly some really pretty flowers right now with all the irises, and lots of cardinal flower later in the summer. And it's sort of like it acts like a rain garden where it can take and funnel water when there's an excess of it. And lots of the plants here like it wet, but don't need it to be wet all the time.
Yeah, we have a few people saying they've never taken a look at this up close. But yes, you are definitely welcome to walk on the grass, just not the beds, the flower beds. So here we have a tulip poplar, and these are really cool flowers. They've got kind of a greenish color, so they're not always super visible from far away. You can see.
I'm just gonna borrow this one and bring it a little closer.
Yeah, Yeah. So you might have been seeing a few of these on the ground lately too. These petals are they really show up on the sidewalk with that orange coloring on the bottom there.
I think this is a case of, if I'm remembering correctly, this is a Missouri native tree, but its native range is actually farther south than St. Louis, so it's not actually native to the St. Louis region, but because it is a Missouri native and grows so close, it grows really well here, so it's a very popular tree. We have quite a few here on garden grounds. I know over in Tower Grove Park there are a ton of these, and so it's one of the cool trees that waits for the magnolias and cherries to get out of the spotlight, and then it kind of sneaks these cool blooms on you.
Yeah.
That's
I'm glad we saw that. We've been wanting to show you guys one of those for the past week or so.
Yeah, and there's a few more to look out for. I don't know if we'll see them on our tour today, but catalpa trees are still, those haven't bloomed yet, so those get big clusters of white blooms. Actually, a lot of the hollies have been in bloom. I don't know if we'll see some over here, but...
Bren, the name of the tree is the Tulip poplar.
Liriodendron tulipifera is the scientific name. Yeah, so even here, I mean, you can see scale-wise, much smaller than the tulip poplar, but these are the blooms on holly trees, the native North American holly. So lots of tree blooms still, even when we're past kind of the showy stuff that we're used to seeing in spring. Oh, this looks so good.
Yeah, it does. Wow. Even just last week on our virtual tour, we walked through this garden, and now it looks even better and brighter than it did then. A lot of purples. And here to our right, we've got some roses coming in. Wow, you can smell those from here. That's amazing. I think the sun is really bringing out the smells today. Yeah, look at all these different purples here.
I don't know if they're still with us, but we had somebody earlier on ask about foxglove, so
Here's
there we go.
foxglove. It's a really cool flower. Got irises. Gina, it's called foxglove. Oh wow, and over here on the left, some white peonies. Those are so big. And you can see here kind of the last of the allium blooms, these puffy ones right here.
yeah, we've had a lot of people asking about those in pictures we've shared on social media of the alliums, these ornamental onions. So very popular for the home gardener, and we make certainly good use of them here as well. I think the ones that we see here that I've heard people refer to as the Dr. Seuss plant, that's a particular variety called Globe Master. So those are really big and showy. But there are quite a few different kinds of ornamental onions that all get that big poof ball on top.
Some more irises. These ones are pretty fragrant. They kind of smell like candy, like a jelly bean.
We can turn around here just to kind of give one more look at the garden that we just walked through. This is one of my favorite vantage points in the whole garden. I just like the way the path winds through here, and there's just so much to see, a lot of great layering and colors. It's just a really nice place to kind of stop and enjoy the view for a second.
This is the English Woodland Garden that we're entering now.
So many birds.
Yeah.
You know, May is migratory bird month, and so this is a time of year when a lot of different kinds of birds come through the St. Louis area on their way to elsewhere. And this the English Woodland Garden, particularly in the evenings and early in the mornings, is just so loud with the sounds of all these birds. And hopefully you could hear a little bit of it there before I started talking.
No, we had Meredith just wrote in to say one of her cats is reacting to the birds as she watches. So it seems like that is definitely coming through. And now while we're walking, I'll just mention, I've seen a few people asking again who may have tuned in later, asking about reopening. And right now the answer is that we have submitted a plan for safely reopening to the city, and we're just waiting to hear back about that, but we are hoping to have news on that soon. So definitely stay tuned. We will announce that on social media and elsewhere. If you're following us, you will find out soon, we hope. And Jean, yes, we're actually walking to the Peonies right now. Those pink blossoms that we passed on the left back there were a kind of rhododendron.
Yeah, most of those are well past peak at this point. There's a few still hanging on, and there are a few types of azaleas and rhododendrons that actually bloom in the fall. And so those, I know there's a few in the English Woodland Garden. So you'll see that. I mean, a lot of the way that this garden is designed is that things sort of come in waves. So there are peaks when everything is seemingly in bloom all at once, but there are things that kind of start that wave early, and then other plants that sort of finish it out. So that may be one of the later blooming azaleas kind of holding on here.
And we were just talking about those tulip poplars a few minutes ago and how they often fall on the ground. Just found one on the sidewalk right here. So there's another one of those.
Especially after a big rain, you'll see those
Yeah.
all over the ground.
I bet after this rainy weekend that's predicted, there'll be more. Oh yeah, look at those peonies. Woo! So here we are along that long stretch of peonies. Get up close on some of them here. You can see there's all different varieties here. And this is what they look like when they're about to bloom. So there's still some yet to open. But a lot of them are out right now. They look really good.
Kristina and I were here earlier this week checking on these, and I was able to put a drone up and actually get sort of an overhead shot of this whole path and what it looks like in its totality, from sort of the plum viewing arbor all the way around to the flat bridge. So we may see if we can share one of those images at some point. But it really is just, it kind of sneaks up on you when you're walking through here. As you would have seen, we passed a lot of green scenery, and then to come around this corner and just bam, pinks and whites and
Yeah.
reds.
Wow, there's a lot right here. This is a really dense area. These are beautiful. And now we are at the koi bridge. We're gonna see if we can get some koi to come over. We brought fish food today. I know we've mentioned feeding them a couple times. Well, we finally remembered our fish food. So let's see if we can get some of them to come over here.
And while we're getting our fish food ready, if you look across the lake here, you'll see some white there just past the zigzag bridge. That's a type of dogwood, an Asian dogwood that's in bloom right now. So it's adding a nice little pop of color to a lot of the green that you see there from some of the pines, and there's some viburnum over there that's past, and lots of really nice pretty dark reds from the Japanese maples as well.
Oh, there's one.
Some.
Let's see. There's one guy.
Right there.
They're catching on.
I think they're probably used to at this point of the year being overfed by small children, so this, sure they're missing everyone. They are being fed though. This is not their only
Yeah,
feeding.
and you can see there's some different plants and algae swirling around in there that they eat as well. Let's see if we can get any more to come from further away.
And in some respects, they're a little bit like some of the plants we have here. On really nice sunny days, when the water is a little bit warmer, they're a lot more active. So I think...
Come back over here. Come get your food. Yeah, just a couple out today. You can see them right out there. You can see their huge mouths. Well, these three are feasting. Everybody else is missing out. We'll have to come back on a sunny day. All right, everyone, that's it for our tour today. I'm Kristina. This is Cassidy here at the Missouri Botanical Garden, and we're just going to end on a nice quiet shot of these beautiful peonies in bloom.